Welcome to Saturday Showcase, presented by 5 Hour Energy. And we are in Fort Worth, Texas. Another Big 12 Top 20 battle as the 10th ranked Kansas Jayhawks on the road to take on 16th ranked TCU. From inside Schollmeyer Arena on the campus of TCU, I'm Rich Hollenberg alongside former Big 10 first teamer Robbie Hummel. And since you're new to Big 12 broadcasting, there's really only one way to welcome you to the club.
Hey.
That 10-gallon hat will get you anywhere you want to go in conference. But tonight's game features the two best shooting teams in what is arguably the best conference in all basketball.
Yeah, and two shooting teams that are really elite in this conference. You take a look here at the field goal percentages and the three-point percentages. Both teams shooting the basketball extremely well. They just go about doing it in different ways. Kansas reliant on the three-point shot this season. TCU more of a team that drives the basketball, draws fouls. You see the discrepancies in free throws between the two teams. Really going to be an interesting battle, and contrasting styles tonight. Should be a great one here at TCU.
And when you talk about key players, X factors if you will, one player, Vlad Brodzianski, was a key to TCU's most recent win, and the player on the left that you see, LeGerald Vick, has to play better than he did the last game.
Yeah, LeGerald Vick can't have 1 point in a game for Kansas and expect to win against good teams. You talked about Vlad Brodzianski, made a big-time three at Baylor, really had a good game, 18 points, had a nice performance in Waco. TCU wants to see more of that tonight from their big man.
Both teams coming in 1-1 in conference play. TCU 13-1, just one blemish on their resume, a 1-point loss in the Big 12 opener to Oklahoma. Kansas in the road blues controls the opening tip. There's Devontae Graham's second leading scorer in the Big 12 behind freshman sensation Trae Young. Inside, they try to establish an inside presence, and Udoka Azubuike gets the first two.
And we saw it at shoot-around today. Bill Self adamant about this Kansas team getting it inside.
And Desmond Bane with a quick answer. More than half of his field goal attempts are threes, but he gets it at close range for TCU there.
Well, good job pushing the basketball there by the Horned Frogs. Opportunities here for this team tonight. Kansas has struggled, especially against Texas Tech.
They lob it inside. Good defense by the Frogs. Here comes Jalen Fisher, 0 and white. The lob to no one in particular. It's the first turnover for TCU. And this is a team that over their last 4 games, Robbie, has turned it over just fewer than 10 times per game. They really value the basketball.
They've done a really good job of taking care of it, and on that possession, just a miscommunication. A 4-out, 1-in motion for this TCU team. They're going to look to establish Brodzianski on the block.
That ball goes out of bounds. It'll stay TCU basketball. Bill Self coming in, the owner of 634 career wins, most recently inducted into the Basketball Hall of Fame this past September. And of course, looking for conference championship number 14 in a row. Bane showed 3, goes 2 instead, and he's 2 for 2 to start this contest.
And we've seen an aggressive Desmond Bane here coming out, utilizing the shot fake. The top 3-point shooter in the Big 12. He's going to have opportunities to use that, get to his wonderful pull-up.
Azubuike with 1 foot in the paint, got both feet in, and the shot is up and good. And he's an early 2 for 2.
He certainly has a size advantage on the block. Kansas, doing a good job of getting it to him in positions where he can score.
Easy to see why Azubuike is second in the nation in field goal percentage. There's Vlad Brodzianski, who you touched on at the top of the telecast.
Really a nice head fake, gets Azubuike off his feet.
Kansas TCU trading buckets in the early minutes. Azubuike with a big throwdown. And an early 6 points for the big man, the 7-foot sophomore out of Nigeria.
And message delivered to this Kansas team, clearly establishing Udoka Azubuike.
Here's J.D. Miller, had it blocked by Azubuike. There's Devontae Graham, decides to pull it out. Svi for 3. Svi Mikhailuk has his first bucket of the game.
Well, you love what Devontae Graham does there. Pushes the basketball, puts pressure on the defense, gives it up, and finds a great shot for Svi Mikhailuk.
Mikhailuk had 18 and was 4 for 8 from three-point range the last time these two teams played, which was in the Big 12 tournament last March, Robbie, when TCU picked off Kansas. And that really spurred them on. They ended up going all the way to the NIT championship, and Jamie Dixon has spurred on in just 1+ seasons here at his alma mater, a revival of college basketball passion.
No question. And just from being at shoot-around today, it was mentioned that these TCU fans need to learn what it's like to have a basketball team that's going to compete like this. And they have a squad this season. When you look at their team, they've got a little bit of everything. A guy in Kenrich Williams who really can be a star in this league, but also some really good players. We talked about Brodzianski, Jalen Fisher, a lot of really nice pieces on this TCU basketball team.
Miller goes 2 for 2 from the line. He's got double figures in 6 of his last 7 games. Great complimentary score for the Horned Frogs. Here's Svi, same spot, same result.
Svi Mikhailuk slips out of that ball screen right there. TCU aggressive on the hedge, and he finds himself all alone. Good sign for this Kansas team with him making shots.
Bain misses his first three-point attempt, the leading three-point shooter in the Big 12. These are two teams that play basketball the right way. They shoot it well, and they shoot it better than anybody else in the conference coming into tonight.
And both play really fun styles to watch.
Yeah.
As a fan of the game, you come out here and see these two teams push the basketball, make shots. And see it. Devontae Graham and Svi Mikhailuk slips that ball screen, does a great job setting his feet. And I thought it was interesting today at shoot-around. Bill Self talked about it. You know, we need to shoot open three-pointers. And there's such a narrative right now that Kansas is maybe shooting too much or too many threes, but they have guys that can make shots. And if they're open, he wants them to let it fly.
When you're shooting 41% from beyond the arc as a team,
to get it up there.
J.D. Miller getting a little bit of a bloody lip attended to, and play resumes. 16-15 to go in the first half. Here's Kenrich Williams, leading scorer and rebounder, 34 in white for the Horned Frogs, and it goes off Bain's hands, out of bounds, another TCU turnover. Your officials tonight: Joe DeRosa, Jerry Pollard, and Terry Weimer, a veteran Big 12 officiating crew, who expects to see a lot of up and down action tonight between these two players
tonight.
Here's Graham, first shot attempt, and it's good. And the Jayhawks are hot from beyond the arc in the early going.
And completely in rhythm. They've gotten great shots out of their offense and really manufactured some really good things from the three-point line.
Here's Ahmed Hamdi. Off the mark from close range. The ball goes out of bounds. It's going to stay TCU basketball. But Kansas is perfect from the field, and they lead it early going. Saturday Showcase presented by 5 Hour Energy. On the road, 10th ranked Kansas with a 15-8 lead over 16th ranked TCU. 15:38 to go in the first half, and Super Tuesday begins at 7 Eastern in a couple of days when number 11 Texas A&M battles number 17 Kentucky. Then it's 13th ranked Purdue taking on Michigan at Chrysler Arena. Of course, I'm sitting right next to a former Boilermaker great. And Purdue starting to turn things around after a couple of stumbles early in the season.
Yeah, had some tough times out in the Bahamas, but have really put it together and won 11 in a row now. I think they'll challenge Michigan State as the top team in the Big Ten this year.
Alex Robinson, 25-1, backup point guard, is checked in and immediately gives it up to J.D. Miller, who missed from 3, and it's going to be Kansas basketball. Earlier today, we heard Bill Self telling his team ball screen and back screen take priority over everything. What did he mean by that, Ross?
Well, the ball always takes priority. You leave the ball, obviously you're leaving a man for a wide open shot. As for the back screen, when the back screen is set, it's a layup. You know, you've got to open up on that. You have to really pay attention to those things. So really Bill Self making an emphasis, can't leave the ball, have to help your teammate when a back screen gets set. And we're going to see TCU go with a little bit of zone here.
There's Marcus Garrett in the middle of that zone. He's a Dallas native, 15 or so friends and family in attendance, and they're watching the Jayhawks off to a hot shooting start. A 9-0 run for Kansas, spurred by Svi Mikhailuk.
TCU hasn't been able to disrupt Kansas' offensive flow at all. Really a comfort level for this Kansas team as they operate on the offensive end.
Hamdi. Good transition D by J.D. Miller, forced the turnover. And he promptly gives it right back to Kansas.
Maybe a little bit of nerves here for this TCU team. You've heard them talk about how we've had to learn how to win and be a successful program. And let's face it, they haven't had a whole lot of environments like this in this venue. So we've seen some early turnovers, some struggles. You're going against really the best team in this conference over the last 15 years.
Malik Newman, who's checked into the game, nursing a little bit of a sore right foot. Left out of the starting lineup the last few days. Marcus Garrett, the freshman, starting in his spot. Mikhailuk, first miss from beyond the arc. And that's the first KU miss in the entire contest. The one more, Williams. Corner three off the mark. And we're going the other way, says Jerry Pollard. Kawhi Noy whistled for his first foul. Well, this Kansas team came in averaging just a shade under 11 made threes per game. They're on pace to obliterate that tonight already with 4.
Well, they're going to get them up. And we heard Bill Self say it, if we've got open ones with our guys, we want them to take them.
Graham's one of those. He's shooting 44% from beyond the arc. And there's another. That's a two-pointer.
Well, the in and out there gets his defender off balance, and he just goes and makes an individual play.
20-8 lead, Kansas. After dropping a tough one at Allen Fieldhouse to Texas Tech this past Tuesday. Trying to rebound on the road. Noy off the mark. Williams does what he does as well as anybody in this league, get an offensive rebound.
Kansas was extremely worried about him on the offensive glass. Got smaller players guarding him. They got to check him out.
Hamdi not shy. He's missed a few field goal attempts from close range already. Graham drew the foul on Bain. Well, the last TCU bucket, Robbie, came at the 16:51 mark. So we're looking at over 3 minutes. What did they have to do offensively to get back on track?
Well, they've gotten some good shots, and I think for them it's important to keep shooting the open threes. They've done a good job of manufacturing some shots. That last possession, we saw Desmond Bain utilize his shot fake again, get Kawhi a wide open look. He just didn't knock it down. So you got to stay with it. You're hanging in there. You're taking punches from Kansas right now. Got to stay with this. Keep running your offense. Stay to your principles. Got to start stringing some stops together as well.
Devontae Graham, 90% free throw shooter. He's made his last 14 in a row. He was 13 for 13 at the line against Texas Tech. Most of those coming in the second half when Bill Self at halftime said, we have got to get more straight line drives. He was preaching that again today.
Yeah, and Devontae Graham in that game really just put his head down and made an emphasis to really get to the rim. He's a guy that can do it in a lot of ways. He can make threes, he can make pull-ups. He's got a nice mid-range game with his floaters. He can also get to the rim, and that's why he's the preseason player of the year in the conference.
Brodzianski's checked back in, gets it back out to Robinson. Good ball movement by the Frogs. And that's going to be a foul on the floor as Vlad Brodzianski goes flying to the deck.
And again, a really good offensive possession. The ball is moving. They're playing together. They're operating at a high level, just unable to make open shots thus far.
Jamie Dixon's club averaging just under 20 assists a game. That's good for 3rd in the nation. They share the sugar, as they like to say.
Yes, they do.
There's a 3 ball from Jalen Fisher.
Kansas gets a little lazy and they go under. And Jalen Fisher, who's shooting 42% from 3 on the year, a guy that you have to trail him, you have to go over the screen.
Azubuike off to an outstanding start. He has 8 first half points.
Well, to me, Vlad Brodzianski needs to force him to his left hand. You've seen him get to the middle on that left block. Really comfortable from there. Make him go over that opposite shoulder.
Here's Robinson. And we welcome you in to Fort Worth, Texas, the Schollmeyer Arena, where it's another top 20 battle in the Big 12 as number 10 Kansas is on the road to take on number 16 TCU. Rich Hollenberg, Robbie Hummel, and the rest of the ESPN crew on hand, where Kansas has gotten off to a really quick start, hot shooting from the outside and inside. They're up 24-13. How have they done it so far, Robbie?
Well, their offense has been extremely comfortable. TCU has not been able to knock Kansas out of a rhythm, and it's shown. You know, Kansas has gotten a little bit of everything. Svi Mykhailiuk has gotten good looks from three. Devontae Graham has been able to use his ability to kind of get into the cracks of this TCU defense and make things happen for himself. Really, so far, a really solid performance by this Jayhawk team.
And Udoka Azubuike is at the line right now with 9 points. You know things are going right for the Jayhawks when he hits free throws. Only 14 of 33 coming in, but he had his first one tonight. And Azubuike is the first player in double figures with 10. A 25-13 lead. Make that 26 with the second free throw. Fisher, back-to-back buckets from beyond the arc for Jalen Fisher, who's now 10 for his last 17 from three. And an offensive foul on Kansas. The crowd wants to get into it in Funky Town.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is presented by 5-Hour Energy Shots. Get back to 100%. And in part by Papa John's. Free pizza with any pizza purchase of equal or greater value.
Welcome back to the Saturday Showcase, presented by 5-Hour Energy from Fort Worth, Texas, and Schollmeyer Arena. 10th ranked Kansas, 26, 16th ranked TCU, 16, and these are the two best shooting teams coming in the Big 12 Conference, Robbie.
And so far, Kansas has really shown it. They've really operated at a high level, done a good job of finding their shooters. They've also pounded inside. Really a nice combination of inside-outside play for the Jayhawks thus far.
These two teams score the basketball well, but they do so in relatively different ways. How is that different?
Well, Kansas is going to shoot a lot of threes, and they've done it all season, kind of a live by the three, die by the three type mentality. Meanwhile, TCU going to drive the basketball more. As we see, he does knock it in. Jalen Fisher knocked down a three for himself, but TCU going to drive the basketball more so. They generate more fouls. They get to the line much more than this Jayhawk team.
3 triples for the Horned Frogs, all courtesy of 0 and white Jalen Fisher.
Kind of feel the defensive intensity here pick up, the crowd getting into it.
And they call the reach-in foul on Jalen Fisher. And that was right in front of the TCU bench, and Jamie Dixon is right in front of Jerry Pollard with his disagreement. Oh, Kansas opens the first 8+ minutes of this game on the road, scorching hot from the field. 90% from the field, 80% from beyond the arc, and a perfect 4 for 4 from the free throw line.
But really, that's come from good offense. It hasn't been a bunch of isolation plays. It's really been Kansas operating at a high level on the offensive end.
Here's Vick from the corner. That's his office, LeGerald Vick.
Well, that basketball is moving, and this Kansas team so in sync right now. Really good pass there from Marcus Garrett.
And that's a really good sign for Kansas, because LeGerald Vick had a miserable night on Tuesday night against Texas Tech. Just 1 field goal in the entire game.
He's really a part of their big four, you could say, that needs to be good on a night-to-night basis.
Wild shot by Graham. Good pass ahead to Noy. Blocked from behind by Mykhailiuk. And it's Kansas basketball. What a play by Svi Mykhailiuk.
What an effort. We see the play, and there's some foul there, and Jamie Dixon is not happy.
Yeah, Jamie Dixon, standing right in front of us, is fuming over that call. And a traveling violation called on Mykhailiuk. Maybe a little bit of a makeup call.
I think you might be right there.
Jamie is storming the sidelines. Of course, he is in his 27th year. He gets as much respect from the officials as anybody in college hoops.
Well, also a veteran crew that really understands what is going on here. Mistake made. Give him a little extra room there instead of teeing him up.
Here's Williams from the corner. He has yet to get in the scoring column, and he averages just under 15 a game for these Horned Frogs.
Well, that's a bad shot. You know, he catches the ball in the corner there, hesitates, almost a mini pump fake. And if you're going to do that, move the basketball or put it on the floor. You know, you can't just shoot that. You're out of rhythm. And right there, Ends up shooting an air ball.
Now Lightfoot goes to the bench for Bill Self, and Udoka Azubuike, who already has 10 points in this first half, is checked back in.
TCU has had no answer for him. It'll be interesting to see if we start seeing them post-trap him when he catches the ball. It's tough because Kansas is going to spread the floor with 4 guys that can all make threes. They got him again.
There's the lob. Azubuike almost lost it out of bounds. Here's Graham in the corner. Goes baseline. No. And they're going to get a foul on Udoka Azubuike.
Kansas, we've said it all night, operating really with whatever they want. They had Udoka Azubuike wide open on the back screen play. He just doesn't catch the basketball. Missed opportunity there for Kansas.
And now 2 fouls on Azubuike. It'll be interesting to see what Bill Self does with him the rest of the half as he goes back to the bench. Kansas 14-2 overall in 16 conference plus games against these TCU Horned Frogs. But the Frogs have bragging rights from the last time they met in the Big 12 quarterfinals. Mikhailuk fouled and will go to the line.
See Mikhailuk doing a good job of getting out in the passing lanes there. Really a lazy pass by Alex Robinson. He squares his head to the rim and does a good job keeping it there, draws the contact, and forces Desmond Bane to foul him.
And that's one thing that when they were talking defense at practice for Kansas, we were listening in. Bill Self was telling his team, no switches on defense. They think they could play straight up the entire way.
Want to stay with their man. Now they will switch some dribble handoffs, and they will switch guard to guard ball screens. But in terms of the roll and replace action where you see the big rolling to the rim and somebody replacing him, they're going to stay with their man.
Mikhailuk 1 for 2, giving him 10 points.
Love the way Jalen Fisher pushes the ball and advances the basketball. Really puts pressure on the defense.
And an offensive foul. I think that was away from the ball. Terry Weimer with the call, and it'll be Kansas basketball with an 11-point lead, 9:01 to go. 30-19. Kansas trying to rebound from a loss at home to Texas Tech and move to 2-1 in conference play.
You're going to see Vlad Brodzianski just wipe out Devontae Graham. Graham going under, always a risk you run. When you tell your big guy to roll hard to the basket, those guards go under. Really easy for them to roll right through them.
Svi tried the 3 that time, tapped back by Lightfoot, and a fresh 30 for the Jayhawks. Good steal by Robinson off Graham. There's Noy on the wing. Too strong. And a fresh possession for the Frogs, courtesy of that offensive rebound by Kenrich Williams. Jamie Dixon, you can hear him right in front of us yelling, change it every time they touch the ball. He wants everyone involved in the offense.
And he wants that ball to move.
And Joe DeRosa waves off the basket. And that foul is going to go on number 2 in blue, LeGerald Vick.
For this TCU team, though, Alex Robinson's a guy that needs to play better. You know, he's really been inconsistent this season against Baylor. No points, 1 assist. Against Oklahoma, he does have 7 assists, doesn't score the ball in that game. But you look back at the game against Kansas in the quarterfinals last season, a huge part of that victory.
13 points, 7 dimes, 5 steals in that game. That resulted in an 85-82 TCU win. Here's Fisher. Off the mark on that 3-ball attempt. He's got 3 of them already in the first half. And we have a timeout on the floor with under 8 to go, and Kansas up 11. Probably one of the happiest NFL fans in all the country, a big-time Buffalo Bills fan. His Bills are in the playoffs. Hey, they were talking a couple of top 10 teams. Duke is one of them. Here's a look at the AP top 10, and of course, the Big 12 very well represented, Robbie.
Well, you look at this conference, and they're certainly well represented in the AP top 10, but from top to bottom, there are no easy nights in this conference, and I don't care who you're playing against. You've got to bring your best effort, or else you're going to go home with a loss, especially on the road.
It is an absolute battle night in and night out in this league. We're just 3 games into conference play, and there are only 2 teams that are undefeated, Texas Tech and West Virginia.
No, it speaks volumes about the conference. And I think really from an NCAA tournament perspective, the Big 12 can do some damage.
Hamdi again. Noy with the follow. Kwat Noy has 4 points.
TCU's offense really not able to get anything going, but they've done a good job on the offensive glass. They've been able to get some second chance opportunities.
Here's Mikhailuk. He had the hot hand early. Vic, straight line drive. Graham with the floater. Pretty teardrop from Devontae Graham, who is in double digits with 10.
And he does such a good job of just getting you off balance. It's a little thing, but he uses that head fake so well. Alex Robinson jumps, and he's able to blow by him, get to his floater.
Kansas is one of 8 Division I schools who have 5 players averaging 10.5 more. They already have 3 in double digits tonight.
They're a team that when they're making shots, they are dangerous and tough to beat.
Mikhailuk has 10, Graham has 10 with the ball, and Azubuike has 10. He's on the bench with 2 fouls. Graham calls his own number and gets fouled on the 3 ball.
A big foul at that. Jalen Fisher, a guy that's really provided energy for this TCU team.
Well, have you heard, Robbie? Monday, there's a football game that's going to be played. I think it's called the College Football National Championship Game, presented by AT&T. It's Georgia, it's Alabama, it's from the Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta. It starts at 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific on ESPN and the ESPN app, with a special Spanish language production on ESPN Deportes. Who you taking, buddy? You knew I was going to ask.
It's hard because Alabama, they've got the revenge factor with Nick Saban. Really like the rushing attack with Georgia, though. Nick Chubb, Sony Michel, 2 guys that can really run the football. So I'm going to go with the Georgia Bulldogs.
The Georgia Bulldogs. Sick 'em hairy dogs. How about Jake Fromm, a true freshman?
And it's come in and really operated at a high level. Just a guy that really has been in control of their offense.
Kansas actually has a KU football player on their bench right now.
Yes, they do.
James Sosinski was called into emergency action. He's not going to see much playing time, if any. But that's how thin Bill Self's team is up front.
I'm sure he doesn't mind either. Get on this team.
Hamdi strong to the hole, got the foul, and will go to the line. Well, Ahmed Hamdi, 6'10", 235-pound senior out of Egypt. Transferred over from VCU, averaging just over 7 points a game, is at the line shooting 2 now. And he misses the first.
He's a guy, really, that you can put in the low post. He's a banger. Has had some good games. Against Oklahoma, 15 points, 4 rebounds in just 22 minutes.
And Hamdi goes 1 for 2. He has not been shy so far in this contest. Missed all 4 of his field goal attempts, but has his first point there. And he's one of a healthy handful of foreign-born players on Jamie Dixon's squad.
And this is not just a TCU thing. This is the globalization of basketball, and you're starting to see more guys from overseas come over here to get that education and also play major college basketball.
And Hamdi making his presence felt on the defensive end, swatting away that Mikhailuk attempt.
Lamont Hamdi doing a good job coming over early. Steve Mikhailuk thinks he's got a lane to the basket. And Hamdi says, not here.
We've seen a couple of big-time rejections in this game. It's all defense, and we came in talking about how great these 2 offenses are.
Well, Kansas is shooting 71% from the three-point line, so I don't know about all defense.
Either. Three on the shot clock. Graham, another floater, gets it to go. And Devontae Graham has 15 first-half points. KU on a 10-3 run to extend the lead to 14, their largest of the game.
Kansas doing a great job of flooding that weak side. TCU trying to run some pick and roll, and there's really just nothing there.
And that bucket drops for the Horned Frogs.
Really an in-control drive there by J.D. Miller. Nice jump stop, very fundamental play, but allows the Kansas defender to fly by. And he sticks the jumper.
again in the paint. And that has to make Bill Self very happy.
It does, and Jamie Dixon incredibly unhappy because that's just a blow by there by Sam Cunliffe. The Arizona State transfer making his presence felt.
Under 5 minutes to go. Kansas has led throughout. Hamdi is going to go back to the line and shoot two. Super Tuesday begins at 7 Eastern when number 11 Texas A&M battles number 17 Kentucky at Rupp Arena. Then it's 13th ranked Purdue taking on Michigan at Chrysler Arena in Ann Arbor. And how about Texas A&M all of a sudden tumbling and struggling in a very difficult SEC? They lost today near the buzzer
and
to LSU.
It's really a lot like the Big 12.
Yes,
you look at the conference there, they're going to beat each other up. So many good teams, you go on the road. That's what happens in major college basketball.
Hamdi with the free throw makes it a 13-point Kansas lead. And now the lead's a dozen as Devontae Graham will inbounds with 4:55 to go. Rich Hollenberg, Robbie Hummel, the rest of the ESPN crew from Fort Worth, a capacity crowd inside Schollmeyer Arena, and a pair of top 20 teams in the Big 12 going toe-to-toe. Graham, that was a heat check, poor shot selection by Devontae Graham, the preseason Big 12 Player of the Year.
Well, really good defense there, and their best defensive possession of the day. See Alex Robinson able to stick with Devontae Graham, and we heard Bill Self say to shoot around, we want straight line drives. That's not a straight line drive. That's the Allen Iverson kind of get your game on drive. Kansas wants to get things going to the basket. But look at where TCU's operating their offense from. I mean, Kansas has pushed them out so far, and it's made TCU uncomfortable.
So it's such an underrated aspect of the Bill Self Kansas program is how good they are defensively. Bain knocks down the three-pointer, and that's the first three of the night for the Big 12 leading three-point shooter.
And finally, a reason for this crowd to get up and cheer.
Vick to the cup. Great answer by LeGerald Vick, who has 5.
TCU's offense has not been great, but their defense has not been able to get stops.
Sean Olden, quick trigger, misses from beyond the arc. Here's Newman. Another straight line drive by the Jayhawks, and this time it's erased at the other end. Bain, baseline. Here's Olden. Alone for 3. The 5th three-pointer of the half for TCU, and it brings them to within 8. Cunliffe in and out on 3. A fresh 30 for the Jayhawks.
TCU incredibly fortunate.
And they call an offensive foul on LeGerald Vick. TCU hanging in with the 10th ranked Jayhawks.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by Phillips 66, proud sponsor of Big 12 basketball.
All right, KC, time to wrangle those two as we get closer to halftime here. 3 minutes to go. Rich Hollenberg, Robbie Hummel, Fort Worth, Texas. It's a 10-4 TCU run to get back in this game to within 8 on the 10th ranked Jayhawks. Robinson can't get him any closer on the 3-ball. Mikhailuk. Nice drive by Svi Mikhailuk, who's really added that element of the offense to an already good three-point shooting effort.
He really has, and a good job there by Mitch Lightfoot to slip the ball screen. Gives Svi a nice little lane to drive the basketball.
All right, quick 30-second timeout. Stick with us.
Yeah, that's all. Cool.
Jamie Dixon's Horned Frogs on their home floor, trying to move to 14-1 on the season. They trail Kansas 42-32 with 2:29 to go. What's impressed you most about the Jayhawks so far tonight, Robbie?
I think just the way they've operated on the offensive end, really getting whatever they want. They started off, Udoka Azubuike really established early on, and their guards have kind of filled in, but they've scored in the half court, they've scored in transition. Really an impressive first half.
And in some ways, I guess Coach Dixon has to consider himself fortunate. His leading scorer, Kenrich Williams, so far 0 points, and the team is still hanging around.
And no question. I mean, I think with the way they've played, the way they've shot, they're really just hanging in there. And if you can go into break with this around 6 or 8, really I would consider that a win, because Kansas has shot the ball extremely well.
Robinson blocked from behind. It's out of bounds. Whose ball is it? And the officials are going to confer for a second.
It's hard to tell. It's a better angle here. Still, yeah, it's a tough one.
Looked like 3 players got their hands on a ball. Robinson, Lightfoot, and Mikhailuk. And it's going to stay TCU basketball as Jamie Dixon quickly subs in Vlad Brodzianski for Ahmed Hamdi. A little offense for defense for the Frogs.
And with Azubuike out of the game, he's got to get some touches on the block. Mitch Lightfoot, much easier for Brodzianski to post up.
3 on the shot clock. Robinson tried to draw the foul, no whistle, and it's a shot clock violation.
You're going to see Alex Robinson do a nice little head fake here, realizes the shot clock is winded down. And there's certainly some contact there.
Here's Garrett. Newman slipped on the floor, and a traveling violation on Malik Newman.
He comes to college basketball, to Mississippi State, really, with a big-time reputation as a scorer. And since transferring to Kansas here, it just hasn't really materialized. Just looks a little out of sync, a little out of rhythm.
He's one of those players we mentioned earlier, 5 players averaging 10 or more a game. He's one of them at 10.5, but hasn't been quite the scorer that maybe Kansas fans anticipate.
Just hasn't lived up to the reputation. You're right, 10.5 is nothing. It's not bad. I think they just expected a little more.
8 on the shot clock for the Frogs. Brodzianski goes to work, gives it back out to Bain. Short on the 3. And Garrett corrals it for the Jayhawks. Counting down to 1 minute to go. Kansas has led throughout. On the road, hostile territory in the Big 12. Newman for 3. And it'll stay TCU basketball after it dribbles out of bounds. What would you like to see TCU do on this possession?
I want to go right back into the post to Kenrich Williams, which is what they did. Draw the double, swing the basketball.
Noy, left hand. They wave it off. Offensive foul, says Terry Weimer. TCU scoreless since the 3:22 mark, and we have 43.5 seconds to go.
Well, they've really struggled offensively, and you're going to see Mitch Lightfoot. That's close. Still sliding over a little bit. But Kansas gets the call.
Now a 13.5-second differential between the shot clock and the game clock. 43 ticks left in the first half. A half there. Kansas has led for the duration. Graham off the mark, the rebound to Bain.
2 for 1 there. Kansas going to get the ball back now with 6 seconds on the clock. See it a lot in the NBA, not so much in college.
Alex Robinson at the point. Jamie Dixon saying he wants to run offense at the 12-second mark. It's under that now. 3 to shoot. Pocket pass, and Brodzianski missed it close range. What a gorgeous pass from Alex Robinson to Vlad Brodzianski. He got fouled and will go to the line.
Alex Robinson putting it right on Vlad Brodzianski's hands. Nice little slip there. And that's one that, as a big man, you have to have an and one there. He's got to go up stronger than that. Dunk the basketball. If not, keep your balance. And right there, a missed opportunity for TCU.
Well, Brodzianski at least pays off the first one with the free throw made. This will be TCU's first time this season trailing at the half. And the news gets even worse for the Horned Frogs. KU is 11-1 this year when they lead at the half.
TCU needs to contain Devontae Graham here. And I'd maybe even make Malik Newman or somebody else bring it up.
3 seconds to shoot. Graham does. Short on the 3. Lightfoot follows, but he misses everything. And we go to halftime with Kansas leading at 42-34 at the break. And now we send you to the halftime report with Kevin Connors. Back at our Saturday showcase presented by 5 Hour Energy on the campus of Texas Christian University. The TCU Horned Frogs, ranked 16th in the country, trail the 10th ranked Kansas Jayhawks 42-34. Rich Hollenberg, Robbie Hummel about to start the second half, and Kansas was clicking on all cylinders in the first half offensively.
Yeah, they're shooting 57%, and clearly the message coming out of the gates here was we got to get the ball inside to Udoka Azubuike. Once that was settled, the guards were able to really take over. We saw Devontae Graham really do some good things in their offense, but also they found Svi Mikhailuk, got off some open threes in the zone and against man. A really solid half offensively for Kansas, and a good job on the defensive end as well.
Nice way to start the second half. Jalen Fisher hits the runner, and he has 11 now.
He's been really the main scoring option for TCU tonight. Wastes no time coming out the gate. And he just picked up his 3rd foul.
And he'll have to keep an eye on the foul situation for Jamie Dixon's Horned Frogs. They outscored Kansas's bench 10-0. That's not really a surprise. Bill Self really only plays 7 guys, but foul trouble could be an issue now for the Frogs as Fisher immediately goes to the bench and Alex Robinson replaces him.
This is going to have to be a game where Alex Robinson really returns to how he played last season. Jalen Fisher on the bench. They need good play from their point guards.
10 on the shot clock for the Jayhawks. Now 5 to shoot. Graham to Azubuike.
That play is absolutely made by Devontae Graham. His change of pace there, so good. Finds his big man at the rim.
Bain threw it away. Graham one-on-one against Robinson. Throws it up, gets fouled, and will go to the line. So Devontae Graham in the last 2 possessions showing you why he's a Player of the Year candidate. 6th in the nation in assists with the pretty dime to Udoka Azubuike.
TCU thought they had him contained in the corner, but a nice little change of pace from Graham. He finds Udoka Azubuike right at the rim.
And that free throw right there shows you what a good free throw shooter gets from time to time. Shooter's bounce.
Yeah.
For Devontae Graham.
Say when that happens, you're living right.
Shooting 90% from the free throw line this season. But he goes 1 for 2 there. 2 misses tonight from the stripe from Graham. Uncharacteristic.
Kansas continuing to do a good job disrupting TCU's offense, getting in the passing lanes. That ball not able to move from side to side. TCU trying to set up a post play there for Vlad Brodzianski. Unable to get the ball to that side of the floor, though.
Another post feed. Azubuike has 2 fouls. Weak side rebound, Miller. Surrounded by Jayhawks, still puts it up. No good, Brodzianski. And no whistle again. And Jamie Dixon is livid. Mikhailuk. No. A little bit of a rush shot from the Jayhawks.
Not a good one, and we've seen him really do a good job tonight of getting good shots all night. As we see Vlad Brodzianski finally finish a shot at the rim. TCU still hanging around. Only down 7 points. A lot of games.
And there's a 3 from LeGerald Vick.
And those are the transition issues we saw against Oklahoma. Right there, TCU just doesn't know who they're guarding.
And that foul's going to go on LeGerald Vick. It's going to be TCU ball under their own basket. 2 seconds shy of 2 minutes gone by in the second half. Both teams come in 1-1 in Big 12 conference play. A deep, talented, and balanced Big 12 it is this year. And both of these teams can be considered among the favorites. As Kenrich Williams finally gets in the scoring column. That's a good sign.
And a good possession there for TCU. Desmond Bain getting a paint touch. Blows by his defender. We'll see if that can maybe get Kenrich Williams going a little bit here.
Mikhailuk got the bump. No foul called. Who wants it? And it's a jump ball. Possession arrow to Kansas. Well, it feels like this is as close as TCU's been. They haven't really been able to build a whole lot of momentum, and now all of a sudden they might have some.
Well, just down 7, and they've struggled all game to really put together strings of stops and good possessions. Really, the defensive end is where they got to start locking in. Offensively, those shots are going to go down, but on the defensive end, they can't give up uncontested shots.
And a foul's going to be called on J.D. Miller.
Devontae Graham putting pressure on the defense. J.D. Miller, oh man, not much there.
Good aggressive defense from Miller, but he's whistled for the foul.
There's the lob.
The lob to Vick, and he gets fouled at the rim, and that's going to go on Brodzianski.
You love the play call. To the defender, you think the lob is for Azubuike. He comes off first, when really it's for LeGerald Vick. Really
practiced that in shoot around.
Yeah, they ran in the shoot around. Really a great under out of bounds call there by Bill Self.
Well, the Jayhawks have 4 in double figures already. If LeGerald Vick hits both of these, it'll be 5 plays. And there's the foul trouble for the Horned Frogs right now. Brodzianski and Fisher both with 3 leading the way in that department.
And those are 2 guys that they really can't live without. Brodzianski, a guy that scores. Fisher, a guy that's played really well tonight. Gonna need some guys to step up here for the Horned Frogs on the offensive end of the floor.
8-point lead. 10th ranked Kansas on the road. Road conference wins so difficult to come by, especially in a conference as talented as the Big 12. Miller in and out. Here's Marcus Garrett, the freshman left hand, wild shot off the mark. Miller out ahead of the pack. And the Frogs have cut the deficit to 2 possessions. Wild shot by Graham off the mark, and a foul's called.
Kenrich Williams doing a great job of finding J.D. Miller leaking out. They throw it down there, and he lets a little showtime go.
So that's my mistake. They must have called an offensive foul on Kansas. It's going to be TCU basketball, down just 6. 16:36 to go. Now Jamie Dixon going with his big lineup. Hamdi, Williams, and Miller all on the floor.
Kansas's defense doing a really good job of not letting Kenrich Williams get it going in the post. You see Mitch Lightfoot coming over immediately. Good post trap there, making him get rid of the basketball, make him move it.
Out of bounds, and it's going to be Kansas basketball. Terrific defense on the ball by Devontae Graham.
Great hands by Devontae Graham, but a frustrating possession for TCU. Because really they didn't have anything going, and then just an unforced turnover.
Seven to shoot for the Jayhawks. Graham does, off to the left, and Hamdi has the rebound. A 3 makes it a 1-possession ball game for the Frogs. Robinson left hand.
Alex Robinson just put his head down there. And we are going to have a Kansas timeout. They are going to try to regroup.
Back in Fort Worth, Texas, TCU on their home floor has cut the Kansas deficit to just 4, 48-44 with 15:36 to go. And TCU has come out with a 10-6 run since halftime. 5 different players for the Horned Frogs have already scored in this half, Robbie.
Yeah, and they've done it with 2 of their most important guys on the bench. Vlad Brodzianski and Jalen Fisher, both with 3 fouls. And guys have stepped up. They had the lob there. Didn't get to Mitch Lightfoot, though.
Mikailu, tough drive, missed it, and Hamdi got the rebound. A bucket makes it a 1-possession ball game. Miller passed up the 3, tough shot. And Hamdi the offensive board. And a foul on the floor. We'll take a quick timeout. TCU has the ball and a chance to make it a 1-possession ball game.
TCU's offense showing some life here early in the second half. We see Alex Robinson coming off the ball screen from Ahmed Hamdi. And take a look at J.D. Miller. He raises from behind. That's got to be a basketball that he shoots. That's a bad drive into the trees there. Fortunately for TCU, a foul is drawn. That's got to be one where he's ready to shoot and lets it fly.
TCU within 4 despite shooting just 38% from the field and 26% from 3. 3 on the shot clock now. Bain fires. And that's his specialty. Huge bucket from Desmond Bain. 1-point game in Fort Worth. Lightfoot drives, and they call the foul, and they want the bucket too, does Kansas.
Ryan Lightfoot does a good job there of slipping the ball screen. We're going to take a look. Quadnoy over. That's his, oh man.
Well, that bucket counted. They call it good and send Mitch Lightfoot to the line. And that bucket ends a 9-0 TCU run. And Lightfoot misses the chance at the 3-point play. 3-point game. Hamdi got fouled, and Ahmed Hamdi will go to the line.
That's Robinson again throwing a really nice pocket pass there. to the rolling Ahmed Hamdi. Take a look. That's a great look.
Alex Robinson with 4 assists already tonight, and Hamdi pays it off with the free throw.
He's given solid minutes to Jamie Dixon tonight. Maybe not scored the ball as well as he'd like. He's done a good job of getting to the line, and so far he's converted those. He's 4 of 5.
J.D. Miller back on the floor for Jamie Dixon. And Hamdi goes 2 for 2 to make it a 1-point game.
When the crowd gets
Everyone
loud,
is on their feet.
When the crowd gets loud, you got to move the basketball. Need a good offensive possession here for Kansas.
Mikhailu, tough shot by Svi Mikhailu. First bucket of the second half, he has 14.
Maybe a little surprised at how open he was.
And Hamdi missed it from close range, and it's blocked by Lightfoot. Here's Cunliffe on the wing. Can't finish. Lightfoot. Big energy boost from Mitch Lightfoot, 44 in blue. Graham, that's a silencer.
Well, Rich, you can't leave him. And he is a guy, he's been there before in so many big games. Right there, both TCU defenders just leave him, and he's going to make that every time.
Third 3 of the night for Devontae Graham. He has 17. And Lightfoot again meets him at the rim.
You're right. Mitch Lightfoot is giving Kansas huge minutes here. With Azubuike in foul trouble, certainly a great sign for Kansas fans if he can continue to play like this.
Graham. Garrett, straight line drive. And the referees confirm, and it is an offensive foul. Well, on Monday, we'll have the College Football Playoff National Championship game presented by AT&T. It's Georgia and Alabama, an all-SEC title game from the Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta. It starts at 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific on ESPN and the ESPN app with a special Spanish language production on ESPN Deportes. Partner, you and I made good use of the ESPN app leading up to our game. We were watching West Virginia and Oklahoma, which was on before us.
And watching Trae Young continue to put on a show. Didn't shoot the ball as well tonight, but still goes for 29.
Albeit in a loss to the Mountaineers, who are still undefeated in Big 12 play. Mountaineers, Red Raiders of Texas Tech, the only undefeated teams in the Big 12. Brodzianski missed from close range.
Kansas fortunate there. Brodzianski getting to his left shoulder, right jump hook, which is where he wants to go. Breakdown in the scouting report there as they talked about it at shoot-around today.
Kansas is led by as many as 14. TCU cut that lead to 1, and now it's the Jayhawks up by 6 again. Mikhailu, nice change of direction. And Lightfoot almost had the finish, but a fresh 30 for Kansas. Graham lost it, and a traveling violation. We got a good one. 2-possession ball game in the Big 12 from Fort Worth.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by Phillips 66, proud sponsor of Big 12 basketball.
You got 2 dominant physical teams.
Big boy Deron Payne with the ball. How about it? Sonny Michel will send the Dogs home to the championship game. Georgia and Alabama for the College Football Playoff National Championship.
Can't wait for that one, but in the meantime, some good college basketball in the Big 12 being played on this Saturday afternoon. 10th-ranked Kansas with a 6-point lead and 11:51 to go on the road against 16th-ranked TCU. Rich Hollenberg, Robbie Hummel, the rest of the ESPN crew on hand in Schollmeyer Arena, and immediately a turnover for the Horned Frogs out of the timeout.
And really, TCU for the last 3 minutes or so has just been out of sync. They're 0 for their last 5. Haven't scored in 2 minutes and 26 seconds. Good sign, though, to see Jalen Fisher back on the court. Has to be careful, but has to be aggressive.
Inside, Azubuike, wide open for the dunk.
Well, that is a grown man post-up right there. He just moved Vlad Brodzianski absolutely up the lane. Really did his work before the ball came.
A 7-zip run for the Jayhawks. Brodzianski got the foul on Azubuike. And that's foul number 4 on the big man from Kansas.
And he's been so dominant for this Jayhawk team tonight. He just hasn't been able to stay on the floor. And to me, Vlad Brodzianski needs to be aggressive. You know, Udoka Azubuike's going to the bench. He's got 4 fouls. And we see Sam Cunliffe going to check in. So you have to think Steve Mikhailu's going to guard him? Or is Coach Self going to leave? He's going to leave him out there. It's just his 3rd.
Now Azubuike has 4, Malik Newman has 4, and LeGerald Vick with 3. This is the problem posed to Bill Self and the Kansas Jayhawks this year. Very thin in the front court. So Coach Self, the Hall of Famer, rolling the dice right now with 11:24 to go. It's a 6-point Kansas lead with the ball. They try to get it into Azubuike. Here's Mikhailuk from the wing. Yes! Svi Mikhailuk's 4th three-pointer of the night.
Kansas so fortunate there. Devontae Graham with a premeditated decision, able to get the ball back and find a wide open Svi Mikhailuk.
Fisher with an answer. His 4th triple.
TCU fortunate again. They didn't know who they were guarding. Fortunately, it was Marcus Garrett, not one of these Kansas shooters.
Inside they go again. And Azubuike is fouled by Hamdi. An interesting turn of events offensively for both teams, Robbie. We came in talking about how well both clubs shoot it from the outside and both making concerted efforts to go inside.
Yeah, it's really been a big man's game tonight, especially for Kansas. Udoka Azubuike has been dominant from the tip. TCU unable to get Kenrich Williams really going with anything. They haven't shot the basketball well from 3. Outside of this man who's checking out, Jalen Fisher.
4 fouls on Fisher. And he's been their best scorer tonight, leading the Horned Frogs with 14. Sam Cunliffe, reliable free throw shooter, the transfer from Arizona State. Knocks down the first free throw. Playing in just his 5th game. Had to sit out the fall semester transfer rules. Cunliffe has a nice athletic element to this Kansas ball club.
And also a guy that's been there, played in the Pac-12, averaged 9.5 and 4.5 before he decided to transfer for Arizona State. You have to think as he's able to maybe get into a rhythm. You look at the guys that are ineligible currently for Kansas. This team could change a lot over the course of the next 2 months.
Miller almost lost it out of bounds. Inside, Brodzianski. The foul's going to go on Azubuike. Mission accomplished for Jamie Dixon and company.
They went right at him. Azubuike thought he was straight up, but he lets Vlad Brodzianski get to that left shoulder, and he does get him. He gets him on the shoulder there.
So I stand corrected. Udoka Azubuike was changed earlier. A foul called on Azubuike was changed moments ago. So now he has 4 fouls and will go to the bench. And Brodzianski hits both. So Azubuike on the bench with 4. Counting down to 10 minutes to go. TCU within 6. Garrett passed up the shot. Here's Lightfoot. Are you kidding me? Mitch Lightfoot, have yourself a night.
And this young man giving Bill Self huge minutes. Rebounding the basketball and now scoring as well. That's a little 15-foot jumper. Ooh, TCU fortunate there.
Miller off the mark on the 3, and it's going to stay TCU basketball.
Kenrich Williams hasn't really scored the ball tonight, but he has made his presence felt on the offensive glass. Certainly a load.
Here's the lob for Brodzianski, and he missed it. He tries again and misses at close range. And the foul's going to go on Lightfoot. Brodzianski's going to have to earn it at the free throw line, but he missed 2 at point-blank range.
And I thought on the second one he did get fouled. I think Jamie Dixon feels the same way. But again, as a big man in this league, there's going to be contact down low. You got to go through that. You got to finish that.
Brodzianski now 7 for 7 from the free throw line.
I'm gonna take another look here. Got to have that dunk. Fortunate to get it back. I thought Devontae Graham had his arm.
Brodzianski makes them both. And it's back to a 6-point lead for Kansas. Mikhailiuk shot fake. NBA range for Devontae Graham, who has 20.
But the play's made by Steve Mikhailiuk. The slip there takes TCU completely off balance. And then good team basketball, finding the open man.
And there's that man again, number 44, showing out on the defensive end. Well, Devontae Graham, 20 points again. He's got 20 plus in all 3 Big 12 contests so far this year. The second leading scorer in the Big 12 behind Trae Young. Here's Miller, left side, no. Williams almost had a chance at a 3-point play. Instead, he's shooting 2 free throws. Well, as you mentioned, Kenrich Williams has more than just one way to affect a ball game for Jamie Dixon and company. He has just 3 points tonight, but he's chipped in on the rebounding side of things. 6 rebounds for Kenrich Williams, now 7. He also has 4 assists.
He's a guy that Jamie Dixon really doesn't run a lot of plays for. He gets a lot of his buckets off of back cuts and offensive rebounds. And tonight, Kansas has just done a really good job of not allowing him to get either of those things. Whenever he catches the ball in the post, they send the double, and really a disciplined defensive effort to not allow him to back cut tonight.
The lead is 7 for the Jayhawks. Garrett off the mark on the 3, and there's rebound number 8 for Kenrich Williams, and a foul to boot. And TCU in the bonus, so they're shooting free throws. Williams, a reliable free throw shooter, 74% coming in. This was a young man who had virtually no interest from any Division I schools. Went the JUCO route, and now he's made himself quite a career in Fort Worth. Well, tonight after Duke, NC State, coming up on SportsCenter, we break down Trae Young's 29-point performance against West Virginia. The Greek Freak going off for 34-12 in the Bucks win over the Wizards, and a conversation with Nick Saban. That's coming up on SportsCenter on ESPN. The 2 free throws from Williams has cut the Kansas lead to 5. Eight minutes to go. Garrett, no. And Robinson chases it down in the corner. Miller, tough shot. One possession ball game.
I would expect a healthy dose of ball screen here for Devontae Graham. Get the ball to your best player.
Lightfoot, why not for three?
When it's your night, it's your night. And Devontae Graham doing a good job of sensing that. Runs the pick and roll and finds his big man, who calmly silences this crowd.
Mitch Lightfoot 4 for 8 from beyond the arc coming into tonight. Knocks down his first three-ball attempt, and it was a big one. And Williams has an answer.
And really, Rich, that's the first time all night that you've sensed that Kenrich Williams has had a flow and been able to step into an open jumper. And TCU's right back at Kansas' throat.
Graham splits defenders. Lightfoot again. Not this time in the rebound of Brodzianski. They could tie it with a three.
He had Vlad trailing in. Didn't find him though.
Williams getting aggressive on the offensive end with the left hand.
And the big time footwork as well.
11 for Williams. It's a 1-point game with 6:16 to go. They're getting funky in Funky Town.
With Udoka Azubuike in foul trouble here for Kansas, Bill Self has had to turn to Mitch Lightfoot, and boy, has he answered the call. Defending the rim, scoring the basketball, doing a little bit of everything for this Jayhawk team. Really an impressive performance for a kid that hasn't played a whole lot to come out here and do so. And hey, right here he said, I'm shooting 50% from three. Why not?
7 points for Lightfoot, 6 rebounds, and how about 5 blocks on the defensive end? And still, TCU within one, courtesy of an 11-3 run. They haven't led since 6-4 early in the first half, Robbie.
And we really talked to shoot around today. If there was a foul trouble issue for Kansas, who could come in here and really play in the post? And Mitch Lightfoot has answered that call.
Azubuike misses the lob. And white jerseys fall to the floor in the wake of Udoka Azubuike going up for the alley-oop.
Bill Self, one of the best in the game at drawing up after timeout plays, and he does a good job getting his big man another good look at the rim.
Azubuike with 14, and that one touched every part of the rim before falling off. 6:05 to go, and Udoka Azubuike with 4 fouls back on the floor for Bill Self as Ahmed Hamdi goes to the bench. And Brodzianski is back on.
You've got to expect that TCU is going to go right at Udoka Azubuike. I'd expect to see Vlad Brodzianski, maybe a little cross-screen action here. Here it comes.
This place is going to go bananas if TCU scores. For Brodzianski, TCU's first lead since the 17:51 mark of the first half.
Got a mismatch here.
Garrett and the hometown boy with his first bucket.
And TCU so worried there about Azubuike. They absolutely forgot about Marcus Garrett, who did a good job of cutting to the rim.
Counting down to 5 minutes to go. This contest playing out as we expected. Two top 20 teams going toe-to-toe in the Big 12. And that's on Azubuike, and he's done for the night.
Well, just a really intelligent play there by TCU. Wasn't there initially in the post, going to go to some pick and roll action, and yeah, Udoka Azubuike absolutely smokes Vlad Brodzianski across the face. And you have to wonder, can Mitch Lightfoot continue to play at the level he has tonight?
Well, when he was on the floor, Udoka Azubuike was mightily effective against this TCU defense, but he is done for the night with 5 fouls. And Mitch Lightfoot is coming back on. And the crowd is letting him hear it. So Vlad Brodzianski, the 6'11" senior from Slovakia, averaging just under 14 a game, has 14 tonight. And now make it 15. Perfect from the stripe, 9 for 9. Both teams shooting it extraordinarily well from the free throw line.
How nice is it, Rich, when your 6'11" center is perfect from the line, 9 of 9.
We saw him working on it. First one in the gym tonight before the game. And TCU back on top by 1. Mikhailuk with a cold-blooded 3 from the top of the key.
Well, Kenrich Williams has to have a hand up there. I know he's deep and he is way out there, but the shooter he is, you gotta get a hand in his face.
Nice look to Brodzianski on the left side. 18 for the big man. And Lightfoot again, the offensive rebound, and he gets fouled. Mitch Lightfoot's career high is 11. He's at the line with 7 points tonight, but he's done so much more than score the basketball for Kansas.
Well, he's protected the rim, he's rebounded, he's kept plays alive. On that last Kansas possession, breakdown for TCU, Vlad Brodzianski really gets in Desmond Bane's way there. Not a good hedge, and allows the preseason player of the year to get to the basket.
Lightfoot cans them both. Kansas on top by a deuce. 4 minutes to go. Another heavyweight battle between two top 20 teams in the Big 12. Pocket pass. Brodzianski again. And he has 20.
Well, Alex Robinson's numbers may not be great, just 6 assists, but the way he's thrown passes with the pocket pass tonight really has been impressive.
Mikhailuk wanted it in the corner. Instead, it's at the top with Devontae Graham. Williams got a hand on the ball, and it's a jump ball. Possession arrow is going to be TCU basketball. 3:27 to go. Timeout on the floor in Fort Worth.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is presented by 5-Hour Energy Shots. Get back to 100%.
Oh, I have no comment on that shot from the clarinet player in the Horned Frogs band. But we are tied at 77 inside Schollmeyer Arena. Rich Hollenberg, Robbie Hummel, 10th ranked Kansas has led through most of this game. But a game TCU Horned Frogs club has tied it up with just 3:27 to go, and it'll be Horned Frogs basketball a chance to take the lead. There have been 6 ties and 6 lead changes in this heavyweight clash in the Big 12.
Kansas falling back. A little 2-3 zone here. Got to get the basketball in the middle, flatten the zone, get to the short corners.
Swing it over to Williams. Off the mark on the 3, loose ball. And they're going to get Williams for the foul. Kenrich Williams has really come alive in the second half. 11 points for Williams. go along with 6 rebounds, or 9 rebounds, make that, and 5 assists. But that foul sends Marcus Garrett to the line. And a big 2-shot free throw attempts for Marcus Garrett. The freshman out of Dallas played his high school ball nearby in Skyline High School. His head coach, Paul Graham, in attendance tonight. And he calmly knocks down the first one.
Talk about his high schools. They've had some players.
Grandmama, Larry Johnson, one of the most famous. And Marcus Garrett goes 2 for 2, giving Kansas the 2-point lead. 3 minutes to go.
Last TCU possession, very stagnant. That basketball needs to move. Needs to get to the weak spots of the zone.
Bain, leading 3-point shooter in the conference, has 2 of them tonight. And here he is alone for 3. It looked good off his hands.
Right on.
A fresh 30 for the Frogs. Top of the key. Short. And Garrett the rebound.
And Alex Robinson not shooting a great percentage on the year. That's got to be one more pass. I know he just missed one, but he's leading the Big 12 in 3-point shooting. Give it back to Desmond Bain.
Graham. No. And the rebound to Bain on the weak side. What a steal. Devontae Graham. And he gets fouled hard under the basket. And Graham will go to the line and shoot 2 with the foul on Bain. Devontae Graham slow to get up.
Man, he landed so hard. Good effort. Desmond Bain getting back, but Devontae Graham just picks his pocket. You see, good play on the ball, but a lot of contact, and he falls right on that tailbone and into the stanchion.
And now with 2:02 to go, Jamie Dixon is sending in Jalen Fisher, who's been on the bench for quite some time, saddled with foul trouble. But it's crunch time now.
Always tough as a player. Always tough as a player to come back in when you're in foul trouble. You're out of rhythm. Now, he shot the basketball really well today. But it's going to be a challenge for him to get back in the rhythm of the game. Got to pick your spots and be patiently aggressive.
As a team, Kansas has shot the ball extraordinarily well, 52% from the field, 55% from 3, but they have had their struggles at the free throw line. They're 16 for 25 as a team. 2 big ones there from Graham.
Kansas a little surprised they're going man-to-man here. TCU had some issues with the zone.
Yeah, Jamie Dixon recognizes it, calls timeout.
But would not be surprised to see Kansas roll back to that zone here coming out of the timeout.
Well, if TCU is going to end up pulling off this win at home, you know that Kenrich Williams is going to have to play big in these final 2 minutes, Robbie.
And it might be one of those deals where he impacts the game on the offensive glass. Like we said earlier in the broadcast, they don't run a lot for him. I would think they'd probably go to Vlad Brodzianski because he's had such a good game. He's been able to draw fouls. Azubuike no longer in the game. So Kenrich Williams, I fully anticipate he will have an impact, but I don't think Jamie Dixon's really going to go to him and draw something up.
81-77, 10th ranked Kansas in danger of losing their 2nd straight in the Big 12. They lost on Tuesday at home to Texas Tech after winning the first Big 12 game of the season for them on the road at Texas. Here's Fisher. Ten to shoot for the Frogs. Williams. Too strong. And Vic grabs the rebound. And now Devontae Graham in Kansas content to take some time off the clock with 1:20 to go.
Kansas going to come with some ball screen action here. Mitch Lightfoot going to set it.
Graham to the hole, got fouled. And Devontae Graham is down again and wincing in pain. Well, you get fouled by Desmond Bain, you're going to feel it.
You see Devontae Graham into the rim again. Good job of initiating that contact on Desmond Bain. And draws the foul.
Well, Bill Self himself has questioned the toughness of this Kansas Jayhawks team. He said at one point this season, this is the softest team that he's had. I don't think you could say that about Devontae Graham and the Jayhawks tonight.
No, and not tonight. And that is in some regards coach speak. I mean, you think about some of the teams he's had. This team is really talented, and I think they do have the pieces to not be a soft team, but certainly challenging a squad and sending a message. It's one of those deals where you don't necessarily have the bench to use to send a message. Got to do it in other ways.
Back to a 6-point lead for the Jayhawks. Bain. They needed it, they got it. And a timeout on the floor.
Well, Jalen Fisher blows by his man and does a great job of getting to the baseline. You see it, calls for the pick and roll, turns it down, and Desmond Bain just slides in. And no better time for the Big 12's leader in three-point shooting to knock one down than now.
Well, he's not going to shoot 51% every night, but Desmond Bain is now 3 for 7 from three-point range. As a team, the Horned Frogs shooting it just 9 for 28. That was a huge one. And it brings them back to within 3. A one-possession ball game. Rich Hollenberg, Robbie Hummel. What a nightcap here in the Big 12 after earlier tonight, West Virginia at home took down 7th-ranked Oklahoma despite Trae Young's 29 points. And as a league tonight, the Big 12 has really bucked a trend. Earlier in the season, coming into Saturday, road teams were 8-2 in the Big 12. Today, so far, every home team has won. Let's see if that continues tonight. Right now, TCU down by 3.
Kansas going to be content to run some clock, and I'd fully expect Lightfoot to set the ball screen and let your player of the year go to work again.
Graham, blocked by Brodzianski. Ball goes out of bounds, TCU basketball.
How about Vlad coming over? Great job on the help side defense, because J.D. Miller gets scorched off the dribble. Vlad doing a good job not fouling, gets all ball there, and gives his TCU team a chance.
Fisher back on, offense for defense for Jamie Dixon. And it was blocked by Lightfoot, his 6th of the night. 30 seconds to go. And there's about a 1.5-second differential between the shot clock and the game clock. And now Jamie Dixon saying, foul to Desmond Bain. He does, and the foul's on Devontae Graham, sending him to the line.
Jalen Fisher there was initially open. You know, he kind of hesitated. I think he was a little surprised coming off the ball screen that Mitch Lightfoot really just leaves. Took some time, and Lightfoot does a good job staying with the play.
A career-high 6 blocks for Mitch Lightfoot. And Desmond Bain has fouled out. 13 points on the night for number 1 in white, Desmond Bain. And that last foul sends Devontae Graham, the 2nd leading scorer in the Big 12, to the line. He already has 24 tonight. And now 25. That's what he's averaging so far in Big 12 play.
He looked extremely confident stepping to the line there. Nothing but net.
TCU with 1 timeout remaining. Kansas, 1 timeout as well. And that's when you love having a veteran point guard with the ball in his hands. Devontae Graham has hit his last 6 free throws.
The surprise is Jalen Fisher. He's done a good job of burning it all night.
Fisher with the floater. Gets it to go. And immediately TCU calls their final timeout. with 12.1 to go and a 3-point game. Robbie, take us inside the huddles. We're looking at TCU. What do you think Jamie Dixon's telling his kids?
Well, it's going to depend on what happens at the foul line here. Obviously, if you're down 3, you got to go get a 3 here. With the amount of time left, probably not enough time to get it 2. So I would fully expect, Desmond Bain fouled out of the game. Maybe you see some for Kenrich Williams coming off some screens. Jalen Fisher also has made some shots tonight. Maybe you move him off the ball, let Alex Robinson bring it up, and go get yourself a 3-point basket.
And if you're Bill Self in Kansas?
I'm getting the ball to Devontae Graham. There is no question in my mind who I want with it. Just came off making 2 free throws. Preseason player of the year in the conference. I think he's been through this situation so many times. He's the guy I'd really feel comfortable with giving the basketball to.
12.1 left. But you look at this score, 85-82, eerily reminiscent of the last time these two teams tangled in the Big 12 quarterfinals in Kansas City. That was back on March 9th of 2017. But it was TCU on the winning end of that contest. And that kind of sparked the fire for the Horned Frogs, who went on to win the NIT championship. And they've started this season out of the gates quickly with a 13-1 mark. Both teams 1-1 in the Big 12. It'll be Mikhailuk inbounding under his own basket with 12.1 left.
I would think if you're TCU, you can trap once, try to get a steal, but then you got to foul quickly.
And Mikhailuk finds Graham at the half-court line, and he gets fouled hard again and will go to the line.
Great pass by Speed Mikhailuk, and that took some guts because he threw that right over the top, and Devontae Graham on the wrong end of another collision.
Devontae Graham's going to need an ice bath before they get on their charter flight back to Lawrence.
I promise you that road win is going to certainly be worth it for what he's going to feel like.
11.3 to go. And Devontae Graham knocks down his 7th consecutive free throw in crunch time. 27 tonight. 86-82, 10th ranked Kansas. A 4-point lead over 16th ranked TCU. And now the lead has been extended by the preseason Big 12 Player of the Year. Robinson misses. The tip-in by Noy.
Got a foul right away.
And Noy does, and that'll send Malik Newman to the line with 4.5 ticks left.
Looking at this Kansas roster, I really think that if I could pick a guy to foul, it would be Malik Newman, just because he hasn't been there. He went a month without actually shooting a free throw. For a guy that's known as such a scorer, not saying he's a bad free throw shooter, but hasn't really had the repetitions that you've seen some of these other guys have.
Well, he hasn't had a free throw attempt tonight, but he is 16 for 17 from the free throw line this season. So quality over quantity from the stripe for Malik Newman. Former McDonald's All-American, preseason honorable mention All Big 12. One of the biggest spots in his short Kansas career. At the line right now. And he missed the first one. No timeouts for TCU. And Newman hits it. 4-point game. And Jalen Fisher's 3 is off the mark, and Kansas escapes Fort Worth with a hard-fought 88-84 win, led by Devontae Graham, who made the final 8 free throws down the stretch. He led all scorers with 28, and Kansas improves to 2-1 in conference play. Our final score, Kansas wins at 88-84. For Robbie Hummel and our entire crew, I'm Rich Hollenberg. Now we send you to the College Basketball Live Show with Kevin Connors back in studio.